Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Monday, December 9th. It is 6:23 right now. Market's gonna open in about 7 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Got a few things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, looks good. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, so as people join in, I'm gonna go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. Going down to the 8 hour. Down to the 4 hour. Down to the 2 hour. Down to the 1 hour. Down to the 30. Down to the 10. And back down to the 1 minute. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, December 9th. It is 6:26 right now. Market's gonna open in about 4 minutes. I've marked up liquidity over here. Closest level of liquidity above is at 44,766, and the closest level below is at 44,733. I'll release the direction of the breakout shortly. I already know the direction, but I'm gonna just kind of confirm where price is currently at. But we are looking for a possible buy. So with that said, we'll be looking for that as market opens up. I'll be marking up levels over here prior to market opening up. Go to the SR chart over here. It's a little bit of a mess. We got the 1 hour resistance right here. 1 hour support right here. Go down to the 10 minute. Another zone right here. Here and right here. I'll put 1 minute. All right, so there goes SR zones. Upper zone's pretty far up. Looks like we are pretty much good to go pretty soon. So we got The next level of liquidity is up here at 44,799. Looking over here at the overall buy, so the 4-hour is currently bearish, 1 hour is bearish, 30 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish, 5 minutes bullish, 1 minute bullish. So it's pretty mixed. There's no like one direction right now with regard to overall trend. Looking at the breakout for today looks like it's going to be a possible. It looks like the breakout for today is going to be a buy. The only thing to look out for here is if the candle's too big here on open, then I will probably sit it out. Looks like we're good to go. Hey, David, morning. Morning, iPhone, morning, Lila. Morning, everybody. All right, we're ready to go, guys. So we have about 40 seconds till market open. Direction for the breakout today is going to be a buy. Got 30 seconds till market open. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. We got market opening up in 3, 2, 1. Market is open. So let's see this right here. Got kind of a little bit of some slippage here, but let me see where I can get the parameters. So we should be down at 47. Yeah, we should be at 97. All right.
Order filled.
All right, so we'll see where this ends up going. It's on its way up right now. See if there's any sessions around here. So we get a sessions below, nothing above. So there's nothing really in the way above. Hoping we get some direction this week. Last week, as you guys remembered, it was very choppy, very sideways, not too much direction. So the first level of liquidity right there got tapped. It's probably gonna push back up and push right through it if and when it gets to that point. Looking over here at our clean chart, you can see price is currently within the consolidation range. So it's ranging between the 800 mark and the 750 right here. So I marked this up before market open. You guys can see right here. It's kind of where price is sitting. We got price over here basically came down and tested the support level on the SR chart. Ideally bounce off it, push right back up. And we'll we just gotta wait here again. It looks like there's not too much of a clean direction off the breakout, like kind of similar to last week. It's kind of just sitting right here down the middle again, unfortunately. But we'll see. So we got opening price, which is down here. I'm gonna mark this up as a blue line. This is opening price. And again, we're getting the same type of market as last week. We're getting closer to the holidays, like to Christmas, but we're not there yet. So I'm not expecting too much of a flat market here quite yet. But I mean, that's kind of what we've been getting lately. So not much of a breakout that we're typically used to, breakout push to the upside or breakout push to the downside. It's kind of just sitting here. at the moment. But overall, direction is bullish, of course. You can look over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, everything here is bullish. The 1 hour over here is starting to shift up to the bullish trend, and the 4 hour here is attempting to correct to the upside as well. So our breakout is halfway to full TP right there. Oh, one thing that I noticed yesterday, guys. So what I noticed, I wasn't able to really look into it that deeply, but what I've noticed over here at the order flow is if we get a buy signal or like whatever, it doesn't matter what signal it is. When you get a signal, so say for example, we have this buy signal that closes, right? If you have a staircase order flow, so say for example, this here closes with a buy signal, right? And then say right after, you get say like a delta of like 20, and then you get a delta of a 60, and then you get a delta of 100. Ideally, that's going to push up higher. So that's like a confirmation of like price pushing up in that direction even further. So if we do get a buy signal here, I would look at the order flow, and it could be very similar to a breakout V3 continuation. I would probably call it like something like a breakout V3 continuation plus, because it's instead of just one candle, it's like 3 candles. So that's something that I noticed. I was trying to back test it, but the order flow data only went up to December 4th, so I couldn't really go super far out. But we'll look at it here in the chart. So, like I told you guys in the past, whenever I find stuff on the chart or I see something that works, I'll let you guys know, because there's money to be made in any type of way, guys. There's like so many different strategies out there that you can use. It doesn't matter that I'm sharing a secret with you guys, because like, it might be something that somebody else here wants to use. I mean, I can use it. You guys can use it. There's enough money to go around. So, like I said, look for the momentum signal to close. So look for a buy signal here to close. And then once it closes, look for a staircase of order flow. So it doesn't necessarily need to be like 3 green candles. It just needs to be a positive delta 3 times in a row where it goes higher. So you need like a delta where it's like, let's see if there's a tool here where I can just draw it. So you need like a delta that's like, so we'll say like right here. And I'll show you if I see it on the chart. So buy signal appeared. And then say, for example, right here, it'll be like delta plus 10. And then you have another candle right here, which is like delta plus 20. And then it just has to be like a slightly big difference. Like you can't be like 21, 22, because it's going to be hard to like follow when you're following the delta kind of changing. So the next one will have to be like a delta plus, when I say 50. And then if you have something like this, it's like a staircase move to the upside. It's like you get a buy signal, confirmation, confirmation, confirmation. It's likely to push up. And the TP stop loss that I've been looking for something like that is a 30-15. So 30 TP, 15 stop loss. So it's like a 1 to 2. And what I've noticed is that it's typically hit. So just keep that in mind. Once the buy signal comes out, we can start looking for it, but the buy signal here still hasn't came up yet. As you guys can see from the entry, price is still kind of like going back and forth. There's no direction here. Price is just going back and forth. You can see over here on the clean chart, price pushed up, pushed down, bounced off this lower level, bounced up here, bounced off the upper level. And it's just kind of ranging between this area. It's the same situation as we had last week. It's like super annoying because like we don't really like trading in this type of market. We want to trade when market's pushing to the upside, right? Or you want to trade when prices going to the downside. With this right here, it's just, it's just not really going anywhere at the moment. So we will follow and see where this goes. I just want to see how far it pushed up from. Okay, so it pushed up 50 points. So this means that we're in the right direction for the breakout. Because if you took the sell for the breakout today, then it would have been a loss, right? So if you took the sell for the breakout, price already pushed up 50 points. So ideally, I do consider this, proper direction of the breakout, because if you take a sell here, it would have lost. So we took the buy here and we're currently in profit. It's just taking some time for it to push to the upside. So I'm just going to let this run through. I'm going to let it breathe and let it do what it needs to do. Last week we had an issue. Well, not really an issue, but we had the market just wasn't going anywhere, right? It was going sideways. So like it didn't really matter which direction you took. It would have lost both directions. I'm hoping that's not the case today. I'm just hoping that it just climbs up where it's supposed to. It might take some time, but eventually, I'm hoping that it pushes up to where it needs to go, to the upside. So we are in the proper direction, because if you took a sell here, the sell would have lost already. And now I'm just going to let it kind of breathe and let it do what it needs to do. But again, I'm looking here for a buy signal to come up. Once that buy signal comes up, I will mark up the setup. I don't know what name to call it. I guess we'll call it like something like breakout. Well, it wouldn't be a breakout V3. It'd be like uh, I guess we can call it breakout V3 continuation, or we'll call it breakout V3 overflow or something like that because it's the same pattern. So for the regular breakout V3 continuation, you're looking for a buy signal and then a green candle. For this one, you're just looking for, so we do have a buy signal, which is closed. Now I'm going to be looking at the delta here. So like I said earlier, you want to look for that staircase delta. We have a buy signal. Now you want to look for basically, you want to look for 3 positive deltas, but you want to look at them in a staircase fashion. So you want to look at like, say, positive 10 delta, positive 20 delta, positive 30, 40 delta. And then once you have that, then it's likely to push up at least 30 points. So like I said earlier, you can use a TP stop loss of 30-15, or you can use a 30-30. It's up to you. If you want to do a 1-to-1, do a 1-to-1. Like you don't feel comfortable with that with such a tight stop loss, you can do a 1-to-1. But if you want to do 30-15, from what I've seen, it usually pushes through. So I mean, this could be the better one because you'll be doing a positive 1-to-2 risk to reward. So when it comes up, I'll let you guys know. Right now, price is still kind of going sideways. Breakout is in profit, but it's, obviously it's just going sideways. It's having trouble getting past this whole number right here. So I drew this upper zone earlier this morning before market opened. It's getting stuck at the 44,800. For the most part, it's kind of just ranging within this area, which sucks because we don't like trading in a sideways market. We want to trade in a directional market. Let's check CNBC real quick. Any updates here? Any news for today, actually? We got low impact news at 7 o'clock. It is wholesale inventories. Looking over here at CNBC, any updates here? So it says NASDAQ falls after a winning week as NVIDIA shares slip. So if you guys saw the news about NVIDIA, they're getting some sort of anti-monopoly lawsuit from China right here. So this hurts us too because NVIDIA is in the Dow. So, obviously it's affecting our YM asset as well. So we'll kind of see what happens here. This price continues to move along. So price is currently below the lower level right here, which is 750. Starting to come down a little bit. Starting to come down kind of hard, actually. So 1 hour or the 4 hour just got pushed down pretty hard. Pretty much all the higher time frames got pushed down a little hard. The 1 hour, 1 minute over here just flipped like super hard as well. All the time frames are starting to flip. I'm trying to figure out like what's causing it. I'm assuming it's just NASDAQ over here, which is the only stock I think in the Dow that's kind of dropping price down. Some heavy news right there. Breakout looks like it might hit, looks like it might get hit at stop loss. Let's see.
Order filled.
It's not there yet.
Order filled.
So these are all like on certain accounts. Let me check real quick. I got stopped out. All right, so unfortunately, this is one of those days where the breakout would have lost either direction. There was just no direction of breakout on open. I mean, it is what it is. It's just one of those days. So looking at this over here, we had, and now that we've had 2 back-to-back losses, I'm gonna hold off for the next one. I'm not going to take any trade until we have a winning trade. So looking at this here, it doesn't matter which direction we took. If we took the buy or the sell, it would have lost because price here is just choppy. We've had one of these days last week where price is just going back and forth. And that's not going to work for the breakout because the breakout needs to break out, right? It needs to break out to the upside or it needs to break out to the downside. There hasn't been any breakout for, I mean, I think there's been like maybe 1 or 2 clean breakouts last week, but for the most part, if you look over here, like here we took the buy, right? It would have lost. Let me just show you guys real quick. So the breakout over here for the buy lost. Looks like it was going to push up and then it just flipped down here. We did have some high impact news over here regarding NVIDIA getting sued by China. So I don't know if that's what caused the drop, but looking at this here, if we took the buy, lost. If you took the sell here, it also would have lost. So it doesn't matter the direction of the breakout. Breakout still would have lost either way. Using a 50 stop loss and 100 TP. So I mean, if this is the case, and there's not very much direction to breakout, we might have to adjust the TP stop loss to something smaller. So instead of because the thing is for our buy over here, like we're using a 150, right? I might have to chop this in half. So instead of doing 150, we might have to do a 50-25 because 50-25 would have hit, obviously. This would be necessary if the volatility is low, which is what is happening right now. The volatility is just too low. So we'll keep following it. I don't want to make like drastic adjustments just yet because this just might be for today. It might just be for like, these past 2 weeks. And this thing might just shift back up to where it needs to go. So I'm gonna leave it as is. I'll keep using the 100 to 50. And then if we need to adjust it and chop it down a little smaller, we'll chop it down to 50-25. But right now we'll just leave it as is. So we got a sell signal here. Let me see if I can find that pattern I was explaining to you guys earlier. So we had a sell signal there. What's up the order flow window here? Oh, what's up with the order flow? It's not showing up. So liquidity got hit down here. Looks like maybe like the first two levels here or the first. So this one right here got hit. Obviously that would have hit TP. Lower one down here got hit TP. This one over here got hit TP. And this one over here didn't push through. But those lower levels of liquidity down there, and you can see here price is pushing back up. It's just, this is the type of market that we're in right now. I wouldn't take any directional entries at this moment, guys, because there's no direction. Going back over here to our clean chart, you can see we're just in a huge range right now. We're between the 44,800 and the 44,700 down here. Just a big range, price going back and forth. What you can take here is sideways entries. I mean, that's like the only thing I would probably look at. Look at some V1 variations, look at some high level momentum scalps, but I wouldn't take anything directional because there just isn't any direction here. We're just in this really huge range. But yeah, let me go back to, so what I think I'll do here is I think I'll just keep the order flow on a separate chart. Like down here, because you can't really see the numbers there. Just trying to zoom in on it. For some reason, these numbers here aren't coming up. I mean, I could see the numbers there, but there we go. Or I don't know what's up with this, but the numbers aren't coming up on this one. I can see the delta here is pretty high though. It's 289. So obviously it was bearish. This was bearish too, it was like 300 points. A lot of sellers just got into the market right here, it looks like. Like a lot of sellers. This was like a big institutional push because the order flow over here was like almost 300 sellers that jumped into the market. It went from having, like under 100 sellers to 300 sellers, almost 500 sellers right here. And then it started to even out right here. So it went from like huge, and then 154. Delta was only 4. You can see the delta right there is 338. Delta here is a little lower, 84, 40. Yeah, so unfortunately, it looks like our breakout here, it just got spiked out for whatever reason. I mean, it looks like it was a manipulated push to the downside because you can see over here from the delta, well, you can't see the delta, but if you zoom in close enough, let me see if I can maybe zoom in. There you go. The delta was like 185. So the sell signal here came up with -49, -185, and this one right here was the huge, like just a bunch of sellers, like it was a big sell order. It came -338, and then it started to go back to normal. So unfortunately, it looks like our breakout over here, it just slightly hit stop loss, and then it's coming right back up. Yeah. Oh, well, that sucks. It's all good though. I mean, you can't control the market. Sometimes this happens where you get manipulated out and then it just corrects back up. But looking at the order flow, I mean, market looks like it's going back to where it should be. So what I would be looking for here next, if you guys are looking for that pattern that I was just mentioning, so we have a buy signal here. I would look at the delta here and look for a staircase push to the upside. So I would look for, say, a positive delta of like whatever number, and then something that's higher next to it, and then something that's higher in the third one, and then it's likely to push up at least 30 points. I'm going to look at it because I can only forward test this strategy. I can't back test. It only goes back a certain amount of days. But yeah, it looks like right here, it is climbing back up. Like it literally came down, just like tapped our stop loss, and then now it's pushing all the way back to the upside. So see what happens here. These sideways markets. All right. So again, guys, I still wouldn't recommend taking any directional strategies right now. I would focus on the sideways entries because there still isn't any direction here. I mean, it's still within these ranges right here between the 44,800 and the 44,700. All right. So I guess we'll just wait to see what moves from here. Man, it's not the Monday I was hoping that Monday would play out. Usually Monday's a pretty good day because you have like, a big directional push from people who re-enter from the weekend, but we're just not getting that volatility today. We had like some of these big spikes. It looks like what happened over here, and I'm just analyzing it from like what I see from the order flow, is that the market makers or institutions tried to lure in some sellers here. So they dropped it super heavily and the orders came in very heavy right here, obviously, right? The orders came in heavy. So they wanted people to chase this sell, which I'm assuming people did chase because now they're pushing it right back up to continue the carry to the upside. The reason why I know this is because the COT data came out. So I have the COT data over here. So I have the COT data for the Dow. Like all the hedge funds and speculators, they're selling, they're buying right now. So I wasn't expect like this is why I was very confident with the buy today because I pulled up the COT data here, and the COT data showed that. So when it goes to, so I guess I'm trying to zoom in on this thing. Let me just grab this mouse. All right, so looking at the COT data, if you guys are not familiar with the COT data, it's the commitment of traders. So looking at the COT data right here, these are asset managers, these are like hedge funds and stuff. They're all buying right now. So you can see over here, it's really green. So the hedge funds and speculators, they're all buying right now. You can see over here, it's very green. So the hedge funds are bullish the Dow. The hedgers are also bullish the Dow. So we have hedgers right here. They're also bullish. So the hedgers and the hedge funds and asset managers, they're all bullish right now. So I do expect price to be bullish like throughout the week, but I mean, obviously you can see that they pushed price down because they wanted to lure in the sellers and then have them chase that while they push price right back up. So I can see over here, like this kind of threw me off that it came down so heavily, and then such a big order like this came down with the sellers because they wanted to push price down, but then now you can see price is actually going right back up. So it's a tricky market today. We've looked at COD data before in the past, as you guys can see. This is a special COD data though. So like this COD data, I have it from a specific website because they break it down for us. But the actual data from it is, let me see, I can probably pull it up over here. So let's see over here. So looking at the COT data, so yeah, the Dow over here, you can see the dealers, these are like the brokers, the asset managers over here. You can see that they're long. There's so many, like if you just look at this number right here, there's about 25,332 long orders, and there's only 7,600 sell orders. So like majority of hedge funds and asset managers are buying the Dow right now, basically from last week. This data is released every week. So if you like to trade supply and demand, this is the real supply and demand. This isn't like any chart stuff. Like it shows you the numbers of how many people are actually trading it. You can see over here that the brokers are kind of split in between. But yeah, the changes here are huge. So I mean, they've been bullish pretty much all month, and you can see it shows because the Dow's been pretty much bullish on the higher time frames. Like it's just been bullish because the hedge funds are bullish here. So if you guys want to pull this up, I mean, this is free data. It's just you go to the CFTC. This is like basically the SEC for futures, and you can see the data here of like where everybody's trading. This stuff isn't really super useful for like scalping, but it's useful for like long-term trading so that you know that you're in the proper direction of price. So yeah, I mean, they have all of the assets here. This is the Dow because we trade the Dow, but if you trade like S&P or NASDAQ, it's also over here as well. And then I have other data over here too. This bias sheet, which kind of tells me which assets are bullish and which assets are like what are good buys and what are good sells. Like obviously Canadian is good buy, Swiss franc, Bitcoin, dollar, and then down here the Russell 2K, S&P is a sell, gold is a sell, and the Dow here is right down the middle. So the Dow doesn't really get affected as much. Like I said, the Dow isn't typically like one of the assets that's highly manipulated because it just stays pretty consistent. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just kind of see where this ends up taking us for the rest of the week. I do think price will be bullish though eventually. I think right now this is just, price is in a slump, obviously because the volatility here is so low. But I think once the volatility picks back up, it's going to be bullish. So we'll see, but it's just going to be a matter of time until that's confirmed. I want to refresh this chart. Had something else stuck on there. All right, back to our main chart. So again, just looking at this here, I wouldn't recommend taking any I mean, if you want to take sells, feel free to take them. But looking at this here, it looks like price is really just going sideways again. So price was ranging up here, then it came down to this lower range, and now it's ranging down here. I'd probably stick to sideways strategies at the moment because there just isn't very much to take here. I mean, there's no direction. If price started to move directional to the downside, then okay, great, right? Like if you had price coming down, retrace down further, retrace down further, then in this situation, okay, great. I would look for some sells. But because we don't really have that here, you're probably going to get caught in some fake outs, especially because the COT data show that all the speculators are bullish. So not all of them, but majority of them are. So I'm expecting this to be what some people would call a liquidity grab. So it's grabbing liquidity down there. Well, it grabbed liquidity. See where the liquidity is sitting down here? And then it's likely to push back to the upside. But again, I mean, that could be the case. It could not be the case. Ideally, I mean, price looks like it might just sit within the range here. But ideally, price would push up and climb back up to the upside right here. So again, if you're looking for entries, look for some sideways entries. I'll go over to the clean chart. I'll keep marking up zones here so that you guys can see, where the range is actually sitting. There's a possible high-level momentum scalp that's setting up right here. The only problem is that it's right at the sessions. So you have a lower low right there. If this candle closed with the buy signal, it would have been a high-level momentum scalp. but yeah, it's right at the sessions. It's an area of manipulation. So it doesn't look like I'll be taking any scalps here, at least not yet. Um, so I would just sit tight, guys. I mean, if you guys want to take some sells here, feel free. I mean, price is kind of just bouncing between the sessions right here. Well, let's go back to see if we can find that order flow right here that I was mentioning. No, so the delta here hasn't even been bearish. I was trying to see if there was a bearish delta here. I mean, it could still technically come up on this one. Or if we get a bullish delta. Yeah, there's been no setup here. There's a buy signal. There's a 1273. If this here was higher than the 73, it'd be a buy, but didn't come up. So if this buy signal here closes, possible push to the upside. We'll look for the delta here to confirm. All right. So I'm going to follow that entry if it ever comes up, and then I'll take it on just one of my accounts here on Apex because I'm still testing it. So I don't want to, take it on all my accounts. So I'll probably just take it on one. But again, there's nothing going on here. Price is still going sideways. So you can see price here is still kind of sitting within the range. I mean, the range here price just pretty much dropped down and then now it's back into a range. So what I would look out for here ideally is what happens a lot is whenever there's a manipulated push. So say, for example, right here, this here is what I considered a manipulated push. It could be or it couldn't be. I mean, it's really up to like whoever's analyzing it. I think this was a manipulated drop because, like I said, I have so much data that shows that price should be bullish today. So what I'm expecting here is manipulated push to the downside, consolidation, and correction back up. So ideally, I'd be looking for some possible push to the upside here. And this is kind of where I expect price to land at some point. Whenever price breaks out of this consolidation here, I don't think price is going to drop lower. I think price is actually going to push up higher. So we'll see. But again, I'm going to look for that setup that I was just telling you guys about. So I'm looking for the buy signal here to come up. Once this buy signal closes, I'll be looking for that delta to push to the upside and in a staircase manner. And then once we have that, I'll be looking to take that for about 30 points. Yeah, let me put the breakout loss for today. So again, the breakout right now we took, unfortunately, it kind of like spiked down and then it pushed back up. The good thing is that we're doing a positive risk reward. We're doing a 1 to 2. So we have 2 losses so far from Friday up until today. If we have a win, or I'm not going to take the trade tomorrow, but if the trade does win on the next trade, then it'll bring us back into profit. So that's a good thing about doing a 1 to 2 risk to reward is that we're able to bounce back after like just one trade. So hopefully, probably not going to take Tuesday, of course, but if Tuesday does win, I'll be taking the Wednesday one. And then that win will bring us back into profit across accounts. All right, so we got the buy signal. We got the buy signal. I'm now looking for some positive delta. So again, like I said earlier, guys, it's tricky right here. I wouldn't take any directional moves because if you're taking some sell entries here, it'd be tricky. Price right here just pushed up. It's also at the sessions. And this is like the worst market to trade in. So again, I still have a target for price to climb back up to here. Again, once this is done consolidating, I'm expecting this to break out back to the upside. I mean, it might happen now, it might happen an hour from now. I just don't really see it drop any lower from where it's currently at. I mean, it can drop lower because if you look over here on our clean chart, we do have liquidity sitting down here. But what might happen, so I think ideally this is probably going to be what's likely to happen. If it does come down any lower, it's probably going to wipe out liquidity and then come right back up. So consolidation right here, I would probably, if price does come down here, wipe out liquidity and then come right back up to this area. And then probably consolidate again and then eventually push up. But ideally, I do think price is going to push up. By the end of today, I think price is going to be bullish. I just don't know when it's going to push up. So it can push up now, it can push up in a couple hours. I just think that because of the data that we have, the COD data, we have the overall trend, there's just a lot of factors pushing to the upside. I'm just shocked that there's no direction today. So market open right here for a Monday. So today's Monday. Usually Mondays are like the most volatile days because the market reopens from the weekend, right? So looking at the opening price right here, the blue line, if we measure from here, price pushed up about 60 points and then it pushed down about 60 points. So we're currently in a 60-point range right now from where market opened. This is very, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like super, super unusual because we are in December, it's a holiday month, but it is a little unusual for so early in the month. It's December 9th, so we still have like 2 more weeks until Christmas and New Year's. So I was expecting there to be some volatility here before that. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call because you could lose in either way. Like you could lose if you're taking buy scalps. I mean, some of these buy scalps might have worked. So for example, if you took a market flow V2, price pushed up right, or actually it didn't even push up right here, pushed up right here. Once the buy signal came up. Once the buy signal came up right here, and then it came right back down, it would have stopped you out. So market flow V2 wouldn't have played out here. There's no breakout V3 continuations. Same with down here, it's a little tricky. We had a sell signal that came up. Looks like a market flow could have hit, but it's right at the sessions. All right, so we got another buy signal here. Again, I'm gonna look for that delta to come up, looking for a positive delta here. Doesn't matter what number because this is the first candle. So I'm looking for some sort of positive candle here. This strategy that I'm explaining to you guys is kind of similar to the strategy called Three Soldiers. If you guys have ever heard the Three Soldiers strategy, it's very similar, but it's using order flow instead of the candle type or candle size. Because typically when you're looking for Three Soldiers, you're looking for 3 back-to-back solid green candles, and then it's supposed to continue climbing up higher. I'm doing the same thing here, but I'm using delta instead so that we have the order flow here. So we'll see. It's kind of a little big. It was a little big, so it might not work out here because we need to have this aligned. So again, like I said earlier, my target price point is going to be back up here. It looks like price is trying to push back up finally. But, like I said, there's nothing going on here. Price is still going sideways. I think today's a good day to sit out the market, guys. Unless you have something that you're absolutely sure is going to play out, then great. Or if you're trading a sideways strategy that you think will kind of play through within this area, I mean, feel free to take it. But I wouldn't take any directional entries. I wouldn't take any trend strategies. I wouldn't take any momentum strategies because there's just no momentum here. You can see here price is going sideways. It's getting even more clear here on the clean chart. So on the clean chart here, or actually not even the clean chart, this is the main chart. You can see here from the main chart that it's pretty obvious price is going sideways. Looking at the clean chart, you can see here that it's pretty obvious, that price is going sideways. So I would just sit tight. I mean, there's no need to force any trades, guys. Today's Monday. You have a whole week ahead of you. So I would watch the chart, analyze the chart, see if you have any possible opportunities for entry. But, like I said earlier, there's no need to force anything here because there's just nothing to take. Ideally, I would look for some buys though. So if you find some sort of good markup or setup for a buy, I would take a buy because, like I said here on the clean chart, I'm expecting price to push up. I'd be very careful with some sells. I think because there's a lot of liquidity sitting below here, the market might. Sorry, 1 second. Being sick. So, like I said earlier, the market makers or institutions, they may push price down to lure in some more sellers because we do have liquidity sitting right here. But I do think their long-term direction is going to be bullish. So, I mean, price might come down, scoop up these liquidity levels right here, and then it might just push right back up. But ideally, I'm expecting price to close above the opening price right here. So, for example, if you guys are trading options, this is a good strike price to look out for. I think price will close bullish above the open. All right, still nothing going on here. Price still going sideways. Check CNBC real quick. Any updates? No updates. Looks like Powell's here to stay. Some news here from Trump. It says Donald Trump says he won't try to remove Fed Chair Jerome Powell. I mean, it wouldn't matter because he couldn't take him out anyway, so I think he's being smart about it. But they don't get along. You guys know Trump and Jerome Powell don't get along. They're kind of opposites. So, I mean, it wouldn't matter. He wouldn't be able to take him out. But it's good to see though that Trump is not going to remove him. Some more breaking news right here. Trump's mass deportation plan could threaten workforces and industries from agriculture to healthcare. Yeah, that was expected. So if this becomes a case, this is going to, I mean, obviously this is going to affect the market heavily. Prices for everything is going to go up, right? For agriculture workers, healthcare workers, price is just going to go back up higher. Other than that, there's not really much here to work with, guys. There's no news today. There's not really much of anything. There's low impact news at 7. So here we go as price pushes back up higher. Like I said, price is probably going to push back up into this area. It's doing exactly what we anticipated. All right, so if this candle here closes with a very strong delta, it's got to be above 50. This could be a possible entry for what I was talking about earlier, guys. It's not looking like it's going to, though. Candle's kind of weak. Yeah, it's not going to close the way I was talking about. So, I mean, there could still be opportunity here. So we currently have a buy signal. and it just resets the process. So you can see over here it was 33, 47, 39. If this here would have closed stronger, like higher than 50, then it would have been perfect. This would have been the entry that I was talking about, right? Buy signal and then a staircase delta to the upside. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, but it can still come up here. So currently we have a 39 delta. If this is above 40, then great. And then after that, if that's above the following number, then it will be a possible entry for what we would call a breakout V3 order flow. If it's too big, though, I mean, it's going to be an issue because the next candle would have to be huge, huge. Not exactly huge, but it would have to have enough. It would have to have enough push to have a higher delta than what's currently right here because the delta is pretty high. It's 78. All right, so we got 81 delta there. I mean, this candle's got to be pretty big, and the delta's got to be above 100 in order for it to work. So like I said earlier, you guys see my markup here. It's doing exactly what we anticipated, right? I said once price breaks out of this consolidation, it's going to push to the upside. It's just the analysis that we looked at earlier. It's pretty much pushing up. Like I said earlier, this drop here was just manipulation. Unfortunately, it manipulated out our breakout. And then here you can see it's pushing right back up into profit. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's just one of those types of entries that you kind of get screwed on both directions. But there we go. As price pushes up higher. So the delta here is not strong enough, guys. The delta is currently at 27. So it had to be above 81 for it to be a positive entry for breakout V3 order flow. All right, so kind of lost its power right there now. So I'm hoping this retraces back a little bit. We get a lower delta. Once we get that, we can start the process over again. So positive delta, higher, higher, and then entry. So there goes price back into the range from earlier. So as you can see over here from the clean chart, guys, nothing has happened in the market, right? Pretty much price is pretty much sat in between this range this entire session. So this is why I was telling you guys earlier, like, be careful with your entries because it doesn't really matter which direction you take. There's no right side today. Like, you can't be on the buy side and say that you're right, or you can't be on the sell side and say that you're right. You're gonna get whipsawed out. So, like I warned earlier, this is probably a good day to just analyze the market, study the market, understand the market conditions, understand the market structure, so that like, this is an example of a day not to trade. If you're a directional trader. If you're a sideways trader, then okay, great. Trade your sideways entries in this type of market. But if you're a directional trader, like majority of people out there, there's not really many people who trade sideways that are successful at it. Because the thing is, it's tough to trade sideways because you don't know when price is going to break out of this area. Like, for example, if you're trading sideways, like when it was moving down here, you could have gotten lucky with a couple of trades, but eventually you would have gotten screwed, right? Because when price breaks out, it's going to stop you out. So yeah, again, like I said earlier, market here is still consolidating. Again, it might just consolidate here again, even further. Now down the middle. But then I would recommend looking for the push to the upside again. I think price will break this area by the end of today. But it's just it's not really a good trading day. ATR is currently at 16, very slow market. Not really much to work with here. So just revisiting the breakout for this morning, guys, the breakout would have been a buy today, regardless of the fact. I was using the new model today, so it just wouldn't make a difference. The model that I was using today was the new model where I would take certain entries on certain days. But either way, if we were taking the regular momentum breakout, it still would have been a buy. So there's a buy signal here, and then the 630 candle is right here. The candle prior to it wasn't a large red candle, but even if it was a large red candle, it still would have been a buy. So everything pointed towards a buy today. with regard to the breakout, whether it was the regular breakout we take or the new model that I'm implementing. Okay, so we're back right down here, down the middle again. So you guys can see how these fake outs are playing through, right? Like we have a sideways, we have price going sideways right here. All the breakouts outside of this area are just fake outs. Price comes down, fakes out. Price comes down, fakes out right here. Price came up, fake out right there. Just goes right down the middle. Ideally, again, like I said earlier, guys, I'm still expecting this to climb back up. So consolidation, fake out, fake out, fake out. Right here, price is back in the consolidation zone. I'm expecting this to push up. So it just, like I said, there's a lot of traps being set up here. Like I knew price was going to push up and I was expecting it to stay up here, but it didn't, right? Price came up, faked out, pulled back into the range. And then eventually it's probably going to push right back up. Yeah, Drew said moving like a Tuesday. Yeah, I know it's super annoying, right? I don't know if you saw the breakout this morning, Drew, but the breakout, like, I think, let me check the day that happened. I think it was Tuesday too last week. So the breakout would have lost either direction today, Drew. I don't know if you saw it play out, but it was super annoying. Like this doesn't ever happen. The breakout usually it goes one direction or the other. But let's check the breakout over here on Tuesday. I think this is the same day that it happened. Right? So market opened right here. Yeah, it's the same thing. Oh no. It was almost. So on Tuesday, I mean, this could have might as well hit stop loss at this point if you would have taken the sell entry, because there would be some slippage here, I'm assuming. But yeah, looking on Tuesday here, it's the same kind of situation. Let me go to Wednesday real quick and see if it. I think we took Tuesday's trade last week, right? On the 3rd. Yeah, so on the 3rd, we actually took the sell and we barely survived that move. Trying to figure out what day. It was on the 5th. I think it was Thursday. So on Thursday, this was like the last time it happened. This maybe happens like once every couple months. I've never seen this actually happen aside from last Thursday where it didn't work both directions. So on Thursday over here, yeah, this was the case. So yeah, this is exactly what happened on Thursday. So on Thursday right here, same thing. If you would have taken a buy, which we took, I think that day. No, we took the sell. So it didn't matter which direction you took. If you took the buy or the sell for the breakout on Thursday, it would have lost either way. Like price would have pushed up, wouldn't have gotten to the full TP, and then it came back down, would have stopped out. We actually took the sell here, so it got stopped out the other direction too. So it doesn't matter if you took the buy or the sell here. Either way, would have gone stopped out. I think this is really unusual that this is happening. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to back test the data from December of last year. I'm going to see if this was a common occurrence. So I'm going to go back to December of 2023. I'm going to see if this was happening often, taking the breakout. If this is the case, then I'm just going to cut my TP stop loss smaller. So instead of going for the 150 TP stop loss, I'll be doing the smaller 2550. Because I mean, if the market keeps going sideways like that, you just have to tighten up the TP stop loss, because then it would still hit this way. But I mean, we'll save that for future analysis, of course. It's just, you have to adapt with the market. That's just how trading is. Like you can't use the same strategy over and over and over again. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys, if you guys have been trading for a while, there's been small adaptations that you made to your strategies. I'm pretty sure you're not using the same exact strategy you've been using like 2 years back, because the market conditions are always changing. And you have to be able to adapt with the market, or else, you'll just go down a downward spiral of like, losses and eating losses and like really not bouncing back from it. Yeah, Drew said I used to take a 25 pip Monday push if it lines up with the direction of London. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, 25 points could have been nice too. I think anything would have worked for like 25 points or 50 points. I mean, either one would have worked because our entry happened right here at 6:30. So I think our TP is just a little too far out. Obviously it's 100. If it was at 50, obviously would have hit TP right there. If it was at 25, would have hit TP right there as well. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. 50.25 is looking like a good number though. Because usually when it pushes in a direction, it usually doesn't retrace back. So here we go. As price kind of pulls back out of the range right here, guys, at the 700 mark. We'll see fake out may happen here, and it might push right back up into the range. But again, like I said before, guys, there's just no reason to force any trades here right now. Yeah, because looking over here at the Friday entry as well. So if we go back to our Friday breakout, I think if we just tightened up the TP stop loss, I mean, it would have worked out perfect because the entry over here was for a buy, of course. Entry right here was for a buy. Yeah, like what Drew said, if you timed it up 25, the only problem with putting a 25 TP is like I would have to use a super, super tight stop loss. I wouldn't do a 1-to-1. I mean, I could do a 1-to-1, but I wouldn't. So it's still a little tricky. That's all right. The market conditions are just putting us in a slump right now, so it's fine because I'm going to stop taking the entries for tomorrow. I'll identify the breakout for tomorrow for those of you who want to take it, but I'm basically just gonna follow it. And then unless we get a buy tomorrow, I'm not going to take any more breakouts until we have a buy. And that's going to keep us out of the market until the market starts to move directional. Because it's just not directional right now. We're just getting this. I mean, you guys can see right here, it's pretty obvious. Back and forth range. So again, right there goes the fake out. Pull back into the range. This kind of reminds me of like a summer market. I mean, summer and the winter holidays are kind of similar, but we're still, it's like super, super early to we're just way too early right now with regard to the market being slow like this. So guys, just another reminder, today we're having day 3 of the futures trading mastery class. So if you guys can attend later today at 2 o'clock, we're going to be covering, what's this? Oh, it's the house I'm looking at. We're going to be covering module 4 and module 5. So we'll be covering strategy types. I'll explain what are directional strategies. I'll explain what are sideways strategies. I'll explain what are breakout strategies. So I will be covering this today at 2 o'clock. It'll be directional strategies, which obviously you guys will have an idea of like what that is, but I'll give you a deeper explanation into that. Sideways strategies and then breakout strategies. And then we'll go in detail with regard to the actual directional strategies. So for the directional strategies over here, I will confirm these strategy requirements, and I'll show you guys examples of like how they work and like things to look out for. So if you guys want to sit in on that, feel free to sit in. It's completely open to everyone. It'll be streamed to Zoom and it'll also be streamed to YouTube. So whoever wants to sit in, we'll cover the strategies in detail. I mean, this is probably a good time to get a refresher on like the directional strategies because the market here isn't very directional, and you'll understand why we don't trade in this type of market. For me personally, I usually just trade directional entries. I don't really trade sideways entries aside for some V1 variations that are in the direction of the trend. But you can see over here that there's just not very much movement. I mean, price is still going back and forth. It's hitting liquidity here, but then once it hits liquidity, it just swings back up. So let's go back to the order flow. See if there's anything here. So we had the buy signal that came up right there, or sorry, the sell signal. See if there's any staircase entries here. No. So you're not going to get very many of those staircase entries that I'm talking about because there's just no direction. Price will come down a little bit and then it'll push right back up. Like you can see over here, we had a 53 delta negative and then negative 25. So you can see the power is dying down right here. Like the power of the cells are just getting lower and lower and lower. It pushes down a little bit, then it flattens out. Pushes down a little bit, then it flattens out. Then eventually it's going to reverse and then push right back up. All right. It's just the same process. There's not much going on here. So looking at the footprints, like there's no consistency of delta. Let me show you guys an example of what I was talking about though. So I'll just show you an example of that entry because I do think it's a very interesting entry strategy to look at. So we have a buy signal here. Let me see. This is like pre-market. So I don't know if there's going to be enough movement here for entry, but let me just show you guys what I'm talking about. So there's a buy signal here. Now you're looking for a staircase of delta. So 23.15, no. 5.17.88, no. 1.820. Okay, so this is kind of what you would be looking for, but this is pre-market where it's pretty flat. But you can see over here, there's a 1 delta, 8 delta, then a 20 delta. This is a pretty obvious push to the upside, but I think the volatility here is too low. Yeah, there wouldn't be an entry there. Um, let me see. The volatility here is just too low. I mean, I did see one on Friday though, so let's see. All right, so we got a sell entry right here. So here's a sell signal. I'm gonna look for the delta now. Okay, so here's a perfect example. So see how we have a sell signal right here, guys? And then see how this delta right here was -9? Then we had a delta that was -40, and then a delta that was -76, right? So you can see here how it's a staircase to the downside. It's like lower, lower, lower. Once you get to this right here, -76, because it goes in order, right? -9, more sellers, more sellers. Once you have that, that's where you would take a sell right here. I don't know if this would go for the full 30, but this is pretty much where you would take the sell from. And you can see that eventually it does hit. And there's like no drawdown. So this is the pattern that I've been trying to look for to show you guys. You look for a sell signal and then you look for a staircase to delta. If it's a sell signal, you look for a staircase to the downside. If it's a buy signal, you look for a staircase to the upside. But you can see over here, there's like literally no drawdown because the sellers are in control, right? You have the momentum here. This is your catalyst. Once you see the sell momentum, you're like, okay, now I want to look at the footprint to see, okay, are the sellers actually in control here? And you can see over here, we have a 9 delta, 40 delta, 76. It adds up. It gets higher and higher. So you see the sellers are getting in power right here. It starts off with this little number, then it gets a little stronger, then it gets very strong right here. You can't tell from the candles because the candles all look the same, but if you look at the order flow, you can see the numbers here kind of show you an idea of like, okay, who's in power here, the buyers or the sellers? And then from here, you can see price eventually just comes down. Usually this hits right away, but because this is like on Friday in the afternoon, it's a little weaker. So again, let me show you over here if there's another one. I think there was one that was during the actual live session time. And again, like I said, guys, if I have ideas or if I find something that works, I'm going to share with you guys. Like, I'm not going to gatekeep this stuff from you because like there's enough profit to go around. Like I'll show you guys something. This stuff I should probably keep secret, but it's all good because nobody else has this indicator. Like you guys would need the momentum signal to be the catalyst here. It doesn't work by itself. with just order flow. So buy signal here. Okay, same thing right here, right? We have a buy signal. It's a delta of a 7. So we got a buy signal. This shows the catalyst. Okay, now we're gonna look for some buys. You have a delta of a 7, delta of is 29, and then delta of 67, or sorry, 76. Sorry, 67. I was right the first time. 7, 29, 67. This shows you that the buyers are in control. It has more buyers here, more buyers here, more buyers here. At that point, you would take the entry right here. And then, like I said earlier, 15, 30, and you let the trade run up. And you can see here it hits TP eventually. Again, the volatility here is not super high, but this is on Friday. So on Friday, there's like pretty solid entries right there. And there's like literally no drawdown. As soon as you got in from here, they might have pulled back a little bit, but there's no drawdown up to the TP. So this is like, I mean, it's super powerful. Like I said, the order flow isn't like, it's not an end all be all. Like you don't need this indicator, but if you're able to use it as a confluence, like for example, you know which momentum to take, because it's hard to tell which momentum to take, right? Sometimes they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, etc. But if you can use this data here to really identify, the confirmations, I think it's a good confirmation. So I don't think it's a good standalone, but it's good for confirmation. It can open up a lot of opportunities here. So yeah, I'm not gatekeeping the strategy. I'm showing you guys exactly how it's done. I was hoping to see it here during the live session, but unfortunately, there's just no volatility. But you guys can see how powerful this is. And if you're doing it for a 1 to 2, I mean, your profits get added up pretty nicely if you have like, 1 or 3 wins per day and then little to no losses, of course. Even if you were to have a loss, it would be like very small. It wouldn't even affect you that much. So again, right here, sell signal. 53, 49, this is too small, so it starts over. This is too small, it's 38, starts over. This is 39, so 38, 39, 116. This is a perfect setup. 38, 39, 116. Once you have that, the entry would happen right here for a sell. A little bit of some drawdown here. But then it comes down and hits TP right away right there. So, I mean, it's pretty textbook, as you guys can see. It's easy to follow. So I'm hoping like once we have a more volatile day, hopefully tomorrow's more volatile. Let me check the calendar for the news. So there's not really much news until Wednesday. So we might get sideways market again tomorrow. Wednesday, we have CPI news, inflation news. Thursday, we have PPI news, inflation news. And Friday, not really much else. So yeah, I'm hoping the market will pick up and then I can show you guys this stuff real time because I think it's a really good strategy, honestly. It's like it's basically a breakout V3 continuation, but you're waiting for a later confirmation. So instead of getting like you could have taken a breakout V3 continuation right here. This would be a BV3C, right? Sell signal, red candle. Yeah, of course, you can take that entry. But if you don't want to get in right away and you just want to wait for something that's a little more more confirmed, you can just wait for the order flow here to confirm the direction of momentum. Because you'll see here sometimes like momentum, you'll get like one momentum, it's not very strong, right? It'll like push up and it'll reverse. Or, like for example, here it'll push up a little bit and it'll come right back down. You want to wait for these momentums like this, where it's strong and then it continues pushing. Because then you have better confirmation for that. Like again, right here, another sell signal. Let's take a look at the order flow here. 17, 58, 20, restart. 61, 190, 192, restart. 2019, restart. 1951, 16, restart. 121. And it doesn't look like there's going to be an entry here. Actually, 48, 95, 166. At this point, okay, this is a setup here. 48, 95, 166. And then right here at 155 would have been the entry. I think this might have been a little too late because it was already running for a while, but we'll see. Actually, no, it plays through. So this actually plays through perfect. Another full TP right there after like 2 candles. So again, like I said, guys, this is a very powerful strategy, but you would need the momentum to be the catalyst. You can't just take any random numbers. Like if you're just trading random order flow here, I don't think it's going to work very well. But if you actually use them in the way that I'm explaining it to you guys, I mean, it's very, very powerful in a sense. So, if we ever see this during real market, I will show you. But again, like I said, there's just no volatility here, so we're probably not going to get one today. Yeah, you said market open candles on Monday have been crazy lately. Yeah, it was crazy last Monday too, right? I think last Monday was also a loss because it just like the candles spiked all over the place. Um, So, all right, guys, I'm not really seeing too much here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. As you can see over here, price is still within the range that we talked about earlier. I said whenever price pulls out of this range, just be careful for the fake out because that's probably what's going to happen. Fake out, fake out, fake out, fake out. A ton of fake outs right here, right? And then what happens is price just gets pulled right back into the middle of the range. Fake out and pull back into the range, fake out, pull back into the range. So there's just nothing here to take. Again, like I said, you guys should probably just sit out this market today. Save your capital, conserve your capital for tomorrow and later this week. I'm hoping tomorrow is going to be more directional, but if not, then I mean, it's fine. I'm just going to sit out of the market for a bit until we get some direction here. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out. I think I'm going to wrap this up a little early today. Again, we have the mentoring session later today at 2 p.m. It's going to be the day 3 of the futures master trading class. We'll be covering the directional strategies, sideways strategies, and breakout strategies overview. And then we're going to cover specifically the directional strategies for today. So we'll cover strategy types, directional strategies, sideways strategies, breakout strategies. And then for module 5, we'll cover the directional strategies in detail. There's another module up here. It's market flow V2. So I'll be covering market flow V2, momentum pullback scalp, breakout V3 continuation, V1 variation in the direction of the trend, pivot scalp, high-low scalp, and triple confluence. We have about like 6 strategies or 7 strategies to cover today. It's going to be a pretty detailed session. If it takes too long, we might just split it up. So we might maybe just do half of these. I'm going to try to speed through it though, so we can get all of them in one video. So I'll go through these pretty quickly, just an overview, and then we'll cover these strategies in detail throughout the session. They're going to be very similar, so I don't think it's going to take too long per strategy, but we will be answering questions there to go into detail. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here in about 6 hours for the day 3 of the futures mastery class. So, all right, guys, I'll catch you guys.